All of them, I have banned them. They have been praying for me to die or something like that, but...
This video, President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda addresses a conference organized by President William Ruto of Kenya. After humorously explaining that he is speaking while seated because he strained his back doing push-ups, he outlined several key pillars of his economic philosophy for Uganda and the region: value addition and industrialization. President Museveni emphasizes the importance of banning the export of unprocessed raw materials. He discusses Uganda's transition from exporting raw iron ore to developing its own steel industry to retain job creation and value within the country. Innovation and self-reliance. He highlights Uganda's commitment to funding its own science.
I'm glad you have allowed me to speak when I'm seated here, because doing my push-ups, I strained my back, and I really want to talk to you comfortably, not in a hurry. I want to thank His Excellency President Ruto for organizing this conference, and the AFC for organizing it under the patronage of President Ruto. We have got a minister in Uganda, is called Otafuire. The Bantu ways of naming people, you gave a name which is actually a sentence. So Otafuire means that if you don't die, you will see good things in the end. Therefore, by not dying and having been involved in public affairs for the last 65 years, since 1960, I'm now going to beginning to see some waking up. When the manager from AFC was speaking, I said, this man is speaking my language now. But also, the government, our countries can deliberately save. We have been funding, we set up a science innovation fund, where I have been funding government innovations. We have built an electric vehicle called Chira motor vehicle, and its sister vehicles, the bus and the other smaller vehicles, using the government money, government capital. So now we are getting demands, getting orders for that electric vehicle. We had to build our own vehicles because I had begged the Japanese to come and assemble in Uganda. They refused. So I said, okay, bye-bye. Now, when I started making my vehicles, some of the Japanese came. So want to assemble. I said, no, too late. I will not allow any assembling in Uganda. You must manufacture, not assemble. The vaccines, we have been funding them ourselves. I'm going to launch an anti-tick vaccine the day after, a few days to come. So we have the capital. It's not enough, but we have it. If we constrain consumption, we can get the capital. So therefore, I'm very happy with the initiative of His Excellency Ruto. Like on the issue of the refinery, what he told you, in Uganda, I have banned the export of unprocessed minerals. All of them, I have banned them. they have been praying for me to die or something like that, but no export of tin, no export of copper. They are all there in the ground. But slowly we are getting investors. Iron ore. Can you imagine? Some Indian guy from India, the New Delhi, had come to made a deal with my people to sell our iron ore at $47 per ton. The iron ore of Uganda is the best in the whole world. It is about 70% pure. So, when you sell iron ore, somebody goes and makes it into steel. He earns, at one time he would earn $900. And you export all the jobs. But I stopped them. And I'm glad that some of the investors from Kenya, encouraged by His Excellency Ruto, are now investing in the steel industry in Uganda. Now, on the issue of petroleum, we found it long ago, 2005. But up to now, it's now about to come out of the ground. What was the reason? Disagreeing with the oil companies, Total. They were telling my people who would tell me, refineries don't make money. Hey, they don't make money. How about the ones who build them? Why do they build them? Then when I checked, the refinery in Uganda actually is very, very profitable. Do we have somebody from that sector? From energy? Do we have somebody here? Minister, do you remember the internal rate of return? Huh? 14. You'll confirm. Or you're going to confirm. The internal rate of return is very high of the refinery in Uganda. So, but because I'm also tactical, because the Total were insisting that they should take all the oil. Why do you take the oil? The users are here. Why do you take it? So, oh, no, there's no money in the refinery. I said, no, you are lying. Now, eventually we agreed that we build a small refinery of 60,000 barrels per day. What do you call this? You build, then you add on. There's a way they say it in English. You build one unit, then you add on. Add on another 60,000, and that my refinery would have first call on the oil, and then the balance you can export through Tanzania. It's fine. Now recently, and then that ECOP, it's now called ECOP, East African Pipeline. Later on, we could see that people of Congo could use it if they want, because there's some oil there on the other side. People in South Sudan can use it, because they have got oil there. Now, this oil of the Carabat is one of the 5 provinces. We have got 4 other provinces of oil. This is just one of them. So therefore, the 13%, the internal rate of return is 1.13. Okay. And what is the internal rate of return of others in the world? Find out. So therefore, when His Excellency Ruto recently sent me a message I supported it, that the surplus oil, which we had given to Total to take through Tanga to I don't know where, be our contribution to the refinery in Tanga, number one. Then later on, we can add the petroleum from the other Congo, from South Sudan, and also these other because the one of Uganda, where we have the oil now, is only 40% of the Albert area. There is another 60% which we have not which is not yet fully explored. So there's more oil in Uganda, both within Albert and in the other provinces. So therefore, I support this idea of the Tanga refinery. We shall maintain our small refinery because we have already gone ahead. We are very far. We can't stop. The question is, how do you those refineries, if you don't want to create kwa Kiswahili tunasema wivu, jealous. Tunasema wivu, if you don't want wivu, it's better that if the countries have ownership together, like in because that's what we were doing in the past. We were calling it East African Common Services. We were owning the ports together, East African harbors, East African Railway, East African Airways, East African Development Bank. It was all East African. If it is all ours, then it is ours. Then it is not either me or you. Hakuna kushindana. You are all together. So with these few words, you should be careful. Don't invite old men for. Don't give audience to old men, because you do so at your own risk. With these few words, it is now my pleasure to participate in the meeting.